What we're going to do tonight is do another Rujo boot. This is called the Kirby. And it's a hornback cut. This is the matte black in a hornback. And this is a good boot. It's a full crocodilian or caiman boot, but it's got the rougher scales on here than they do like the Blake. You can see here how smooth the scales here on the Blake are, and look how they're rough on the Kirby's. Let's talk about this boot. It's a snip toe, and the snip toes where they look like they just take a pair of dikes and just cut them off. This is a full vamp caiman. I like to call them crocodilians because the genus that all these are. Did you know that the crocodile, alligator, caiman, and narwhals, or whatever they call them, all underneath the crocodilian? So anytime you refer to any of the creepy, crawling, mean darn lizard things that like to eat you in the alligators, crocodiles, caiman, and stuff like that are crocodilians. So I call them crocodilians.
Yep.
So anyway, nice boot. It's got the full vamp. And it is a full vamp. There's no patchwork on that at all. Come around. Now let's look at the counter. Oh, it's got the patchwork counter. Look, it's got the scalloped. Isn't that what you like to see that there?
Yep, I like something that Rujo seems to do with their crocodilians, at least. When we pull up, maybe we'll pull up one of their pythons later. We reviewed those earlier, the Zeeks. We'll probably cover another one of those here soon. But we'll see if they also have that scalloped counter.
On the snake seal. Yeah. So,
but I like the sharp scallop counter. Some of them do a more sweepy counter, but Rujo seems to do, at least in the crocodilians, that nice pointy counter that they line up with the scales.
Yep.
It looks good.
It does look good. It's a good looking counter. So it's a 3-piece counter with a 1-piece vamp. So big crocodile here, and not so big up here. And then looking at the shaft, it's got the crocodilian or the caiman up here in the pole. You can see that. That's a nice touch. And this is a threaded shaft, where the one we did earlier was a corded
shaft, yeah.
But it's got the silver thread on it. That's a nice looking boot. And it's the full calfskin. It's the lined shaft, so it's going to be a very comfortable boot to wear. I've worn these boots a little bit. They got some, doesn't look like I've worn them a lot, but
a little bit of wear in them.
Well, where I work, all the carpets, everything's carpeted, and so this is just walking in and out of the parking lot. So I've actually worn these more than it indicates. But I'm just not very hard on them. So anyway, that's about. So we're going down the tick marks. Got the full crocodilian vamp. We got a piece counter with a nice scallop on that end piece there. They say they got the full stacked leather heel. Now, like we talked about, Rujo paints their heel, so you really can't tell that it's a stacked heel, but according to their spec, it's a full leather stacked heel. And it's just a good looking boot all the way around.
The Goodyear welt, is it welted?
Yeah, it's good. Yes. It's got the Goodyear welt. So if you do wear out speaking of, it's got the full real leather outsole on it. And it's the hardened leather. What's it called? That butyl?
I don't know.
They soak it in some sort of acid or some bath that makes it a lot harder. So it's very hard to wear out. They don't ever wear out. But if you do, it's got the Goodyear welt on it, so they can, around your vamp, so you can take it apart and put new leather on it if you need to. So anyway, it's got the lemon wood and brass pegs holding the waist together. So coming in on the transition from your sole to your waist to your counter is just beautiful here. I think it's really nice workmanship on this.
I agree.
What's your thoughts on this boot?
I think it's a great looking boot. Obviously the Hornback is a very different look of the Cayman. It's more of aggressive look. I think that's kind of fun. And I think the going with the threaded shaft makes more sense. The corded shaft is a smoother look.
Yeah.
And so to go with a threaded shaft with this harder looking Hornback Cayman, I think makes sense stylistically. And I think they did a good job. It looks good.
These are expensive boots if they're not on sale. They currently are on sale for, I guess it's okay talking about the price.
Yeah.
Well, that's the Blake. Here we go. There we are. These are on sale for $469, and they're regularly $670. If you go to the other colors, they're $670. You know, so they're up comparable, not quite as much. Let's see, now the Tecovas boots we looked at, they were somewhat
645 was their cheapest.
Was the cheapest in the Cayman.
And those weren't Hornback Cayman. I don't even know if Tecovas does a Hornback.
I didn't see, so there's really nothing to compare with. But anyway.
And I think these are the only Hornback Rujos too.
I think you're probably right. So we got, anyway, so evidently the Hornbacks are on sale. And you know what? A month ago it was the other way around.
Those were on sale and the Hornback was.
The Hornback was not on sale, but the other two were on. So I bought these on sale at Christmas time. I think I got 30% off or something. I paid, I think, $420 for them or something like that. So you know, so I didn't pay the $670 for them, but they're in that $600 price range that a lot of the full Cayman boots are in. So if they were not on sale, so actually for $469, this is a good price boot.
It's a really good price boot. It's probably $200 cheaper.
Yeah, look how
the competition there.
Look at going back to the Hornback. You know, you can see that. Well, they get that name coming through here and across there, but look at how thick how rough the side of the scales are there compared to like that Blake that we had up here a little while ago. Anything else you want to say? Do you want to compare it to something?
Yeah, let's compare it to some other Hornbacks.
Here's a Lucchese Hornback, and you can see it's got the same ridges across here. You can tell that it's the same cut of leather. This is the round toe versus the snip toe, and that shows you the difference there. Now this has got the same
threaded
shaft, and with the lined. It's got the lined shaft, but it doesn't look like it's any better quality. It doesn't have the Cayman up here like this does.
Like the Rujo does.
Like the Rujo does. So I know these are expensive boots. These are $1,000, $995 if you look them up.
Yeah.
Do
you know what the title of their style is?
I don't. I just typed in Lucchese Hornback. You can probably pull it up if you want. But anyway, so we got the Lucchese. They changed their names and everything, but that's a Lucchese Hornback with the same cut of leather, as you can tell.
And how much is that? That's $995.
Yeah, $1,000, $995. And so I think this, we go back to the Kirby at $649, even $690, $670. It's still a lot less than the Lucchese boot.
And not a whole lot different.
Not a whole lot different. We got some other ones we want to look at?
Yeah.
This is probably the closest they got.
We've got two Tony Llamas.
Let's look at this one here first.
Okay.
This is a cheap Tony Llama. This is a it's a hornback, but it's got just the two horns going up like this. But it's got the full, it's not quite a full leather vamp. It's pieced, but not nearly as, it's a 80% vamp.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got here and here. It's got the counter in the back, 3-piece counter. And this isn't quite as quality. It doesn't have the lining in the, it's not a double lined boot. And I looked these up before, and these are about $450.
Okay.
So these are not the high end of the Tony Llama
But there's only a $19 difference on sale between that and those Rujos.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the Rujo is definitely more than $10 better.
Yeah, you can tell that the leather up here where these are the calfskin leathers up on these two. This is just, I don't know. These are like the ones you'd see in Walmart type leather.
Yeah.
You know, they claim these are 100% Cayman on them, but they just don't look as good as the Hornback on the Lucchese or on the Rujo. So, but we do have another Tony Llama. Now this is the good Tony Llama one. So let's swap that one out for this one. Now this is the Hornback head cut Tony Llama, and I looked these up, and these are $834, and it's got the Hornback here, Hornback up here, but that's the head cut. You can see how kind of aggressive they got here, and this is an $835 boot. So we go about $995, $835, say $670 on sale down to $469. So definitely, this is still a better buy. But this has the Tony Llama. It has this one has the shaft.
It's right over here.
It's got the line shaft. It's got the higher quality leather on it and everything. And this one here's how do I say this? The horniest of the Hornbacks. It's got more lumps and the thicker scales.
Yeah, you can even see where the leg came off of it right there.
Right here, yeah.
And the beginning of the belly is coming up on the side here. Right here, you can start to see the belly scales.
Yep. Yeah, and you don't get that on either of the Kirby.
Yeah, they must have been bigger. You might get a little bit of it right there. Yeah. You start to get a little bit of it.
Pretty smooth in there compared to, it's about like the Lucchese.
Yeah.
This is a little bit more exaggerated, but then you got this Tony Llama. It's a lot more exaggerated.
Yeah.
As far as it comes through. But I thought for an expensive boot like this, it's still got the 3-piece counter in the back. They took a big scale in the back and put on there. You know, and they blended it nice, but you'd think for $850 they'd do a 1-piece counter back there. But here's $1,000 Lucchese, and it's a 3-piece counter.
Let's look at that. It looks like they also have a little bit of a divot or a scallop there.
Yeah, they do. They put a little feature in there going up to try to match the rows of the
scales.
That's what you tell they're handmade that way.
What about our Tony Llama?
Tony Llama.
How's our Tony Llama?
It's just a straight cut. They didn't make any attempt,
Nope.
And that's not quite as good as leather is on. This is a finer calfskin leather, and this is, you can tell, this is a bead type leather.
Yeah.
If you go to what the Rose Amble says, this is a waxy leather up here, and these here are a lot more refined leather. So, but what you're paying for on this Tony Llama, I think, is
the head cut there.
The head cut and the exaggerated scales. I love this boot. This is one of my favorite boots. I had to search long and hard to get that boot, but it's got the well cut. But anyway, so there's a pretty good selection of Hornbacks out there. And by far, it's $469 on sale. That's by far the winner as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, for sure. If you can buy some of these others on eBay or something for cheaper, maybe you go for one of the others if you like the different styles. But I think for the price right now, I'd hit up Rujo.
I like Rujo boots. I've been buying the Rujos over the Tacovas and stuff lately, and I don't know. I got burned out on Tacovas boots. They burnt me 2 or 3 times, and I don't buy them. And I haven't had that same problem with the Rujos at all.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's a collection of Hornbacks for you. But
it's also easier to be forgiving with Rujo because they have sales that bring them down into the price range that you can take a hit on. But
the sales on the Rujos, you get sometimes a 30 or 40% sale on the Rujos. Like this has got to be a 30%.
Yeah.
where you never find anything on Tecovas less than 20, and their boots don't go on sale very much. And it's because they sell them, but they got all those retail stores, and they're not boutique anymore. They're mainstream. They're like the Walmart of higher end boots now. So they go to the Tecovas site. They get a lot of trouble with quality control and stuff now too. So, well, I haven't had any problem with quality control at all with the Rujo boots. So.
What about Tony Llama? It's Tony Llama. Obviously, they have some really cheap. They have the cheaper lines.
They got the consumer line that you can buy like in the Western wear stores, starting around $150 up to these. You won't find these in Gunny's or Walmart or up at Cabela's.
Yeah.
I don't know where you'd buy these except for online or buy some used ones. These were used that I bought and paid a lot for them used still. Higher end Tony Llamas, they do all the check marks. The good thing about Tony Llamas, they're made in the USA. They got the stacked leather heels. You can tell that the real stacked leather heels. They've got the lemon wood and brass pegs. They got the real leather outsole. They got the one-piece vamps. They got the lined leather shafts on them. You know, I think the quality would come. If you buy the upper line U.S.-made Tony Llamas, they're as good as any other boots, and they're about the same price.
Okay.
Yeah, $835, $995, $469. There's a definite winner in the ballpark right there. So. Even at $670, that's a good price on that boot.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I don't have anything else. You got anything else?
I don't think so. Another great boot.
Subscribe, damn it. Bye.